Good morning, everyone. Jackie and Isak here. Say hello. Say hello, Mom. This morning, I thought I'd just make a quick video about what we actually experienced the building process to be like. As you know, we built our Cape Dutch house. I am sitting in our bedroom at the moment. We have lovely bookcases that we built into our cupboards. We like to have our books with us, and they also look pretty. Yes, so the reason why we haven't actually filmed a lot of videos inside of the house, we didn't do a house tour yet or anything like that, is because the house is just not in a state where we can show everyone what it looks like, because we have some furniture, but most of the furniture don't actually go with our new house. They don't go with each other, and we are actually waiting after lockdown to get someone just to help us with the layout and with all the furniture and the decorating and the art and everything. We haven't put up anything on the walls or anything like that. We just put everything inside of the house, and now we're living inside of the house, basically. Yes, so actually what it was like building our house, it was an amazing experience. We enjoyed the process tremendously. I know many people say if you can survive... If you can survive building a house, your marriage will definitely either break or be stronger. Ours is definitely stronger. It didn't go without its challenges, especially at the end. It was very stressful because we didn't finish in time. But let me quickly tell you more about the timeline. So we bought this plot in 2015, so it's now almost 5 years since we actually bought the land. Then our plan wasn't to start building immediately because simply we couldn't afford it. We had to have a lot of like a major deposit for the builder and everything like that, and actually like paying for the new house at that stage, we couldn't afford it. Then as time went on, we eventually decided, okay, now the time is much better. We are now going to much better. Now is better timing, so we can actually start building now. Now, from the time when we decided, okay, let's do it. Let's get the plans drafted. Let's sorry, I hope this isn't going to make too much of a noise on the video. Hello. So since we decided now is the time, now we are going to start. We and actually finishing the house was about 3.5 years. So in South Africa, it takes a long time for the municipality to approve your plans. Everything takes a long time. If you don't have professionals that's on it every day, every week, you basically can wait years. Now, I've heard that it's even worse in Johannesburg and more like the northern parts of the country. We are in Cape Town, and it took the municipality just more than a year, just over a year, to actually approve our plans. So that was a long process, from having the plans drawn up to submitting it to the municipality to actually have the approved plans was, like I said, well, if you add like the architects like drawing up the plans, then it's much longer than a year. Isaac. And yes, so it took more than a year for that. Then when we started building, it took 9 months for the house to be finished. Originally, the plan was that it would have been finished by December 2019. It wasn't. And then we actually moved in February, like the end of February, I think, towards the end of February. So it was an amazing experience seeing what you drew up on paper like come to life. And now I just want to speak a little bit about like a few tips and things that I think worked, and the things that actually caused us to have a very good experience. Even with some of the challenges, overall, it was amazing building our own house. So my first tip would definitely be do all of the planning on like just a normal piece of paper and going to all of your suppliers beforehand. So draw up a plan, like a rough plan where you want the rooms to be. Do you want it to be a double story? Like where on the plot would you more or less like the house? What would be the feel of the garden? Whatever. Do all of that and then decide this is the type of bath we want. These are the taps. We think we'll paint it white, or we'll make a feature wall over here. These cupboards, these handles. And there are so many things that you don't think about. Even us that like we think we are amazing planners and we think ahead and everything. There are still things that you don't think about. Hinges for doors, like what color do you want them to be? Obviously all your plugs, your light switches, the cornice, the like everything. Okay, the floors and those things are more obvious, but there are many things that you miss out. Like they ask you, do you want this line to go up to here? And you're like, well, I don't know, what will it look like? What do you think? Like even with all the plans and the planning, there are so many things. So that's why it's such a good idea to have everything planned out ahead of time. So we didn't have a plan with a bath here and a basin here and a toilet there, and then afterwards, now they start building, now we have to go choose all of those things. We chose it long before we even had the plans or the approved plans. We actually went to the shops, we got quotations, so by the time it was, let's say, time to install the bathroom, the builder could just go to the supplier with our quotation. They could just see if it's still valid. Even like handles for your cupboards and all of those kinds of things. And then if you change your mind along the way, because that also happened to us, if you can see these handles here in the background, originally we had like very different handles. They were round, they had kind of more like a ceramic feel. It was more cottagey, more farmhouse. And then my parents actually inspired us to do lots more like black and white, clean and crisp. And we actually now have a much more contemporary feel in many of the aspects of the house. So yes, we just changed our mind along the way. We went to the same place, but we chose different handles. They adjusted the quotation. It wasn't a problem. These were actually much cheaper than the ones we chose before. So most of the things that we changed our mind about, we chose cheaper options. But that's just, it worked out that way. If one thing is more expensive, then you can maybe try to make it up elsewhere. Maybe choose different plugs or light switches, or if it's much more expensive to have something in brass color, let's say go for silver or something like that, because it does all add up eventually. So yes, that's my first tip, like plan out everything ahead of time, so that by the time that they build the house, it's just a matter of executing the plan that's already in place, more or less. Then my second tip is a very obvious one. Obviously, you hear this all the time. Very seldom, it's very scarce actually, that you stay on budget and stay on, on time. Our house took almost 3 months longer than it was planned originally. So flowing from that, my tip is obviously make sure that you have alternative accommodation, and also the accommodation where you are, if you can, make sure that you can stay there longer if needs be. If it's possible at all for you to extend your contract or like just to make an arrangement, then yeah, that helps a lot. Luckily, we could stay on for 2 weeks longer where we were, and then eventually we stayed a little bit with family, and it was hectic at the end because we wanted to move in, but there were some complications and things that had to be done, but it was no one's fault. It was just like kind of lots of things coming together. In South Africa, the building industry closes about the 16th of December. So between December and kind of mid-January, almost nothing happens in the building industry. So our builder and his team, they were ready to continue with the work, but then all the suppliers and the laborers and everyone was still closed and on holiday. So that's also something to keep in mind. Obviously, the weather, when you want to maybe dig the foundations. We started in June, July 2019. Yes, and we moved in end of February, so it took about 9 months. But yes, we had to start building while it was raining and it was winter, so there were weeks where they couldn't do much. They had to wait for the rain to pass. Like, if you can plan around that, obviously it helps, but honestly, there are so many moving parts and so many variables that at the end of the day, it just worked out that way. We had to start building in the winter. That was just the way it was. It was already 6 to 7 months later than we wanted to start. So we were like, no, we are starting now. Yeah, so then my other tip would just be when designing a house and thinking about the layout and the plan. It's very much like your closet. Like, don't think about what you would like to wear. Don't have like a suit or an evening dress if you would like to have a glamorous life and go out for dinner and dancing. If you don't actually do that, because then the suit and the dress are just taking up space in your cupboard and you're not honest with yourself about like the type of life that you live. Or if you really want to change the way you live, then go out for dinner and dancing and have the outfits by all means, but just don't waste space on an idea if it's not feasible and if it's not something that you do. So the same goes with the way you live. If you want to build a house with 4 entertainment areas, but you never actually entertain, or you don't like inviting people over, or you don't actually like being a host, or you don't have that many friends, or you don't like having 20 people over at your house. Oh, bless you. Bless you. Then don't build a house for that lifestyle if that's not you. One thing that worked exceptionally well, I'll make videos about all of these things at a later stage, but one thing that helped us a lot is we looked at the way we do things in the kitchen, for example. So Francois mostly does the dishwasher. He packs it in and out, or loads it and unloads it. And gaan jy 'n klokkie lui vir ons? So we actually put the dishwasher and the bin and the cupboards where most of the things go that we use on a daily basis, like in a little triangle at the end of the kitchen. So he can move freely there. I can still be in the kitchen, make coffee or bring the dirty dishes or cook or whatever, and I'm not in his way. So look at the way that you actually do things and design around that. Okay, so that's just kind of an introductory video about building our house, planning the timeline, and just like a few tips. It's not mind-blowing tips, but I really think these simple ideas, even though they don't sound exceptional, or it's kind of obvious, we do tend to forget about these things when we actually get to it. And I think these are the reasons why our building process went as smooth as it did, and why we enjoyed it as much as we did. And yes, that's my tips. I'll make more and more videos about our house and do a house tour and show you all of the things that we chose and the way that it turned out. We are so happy with our home. It's not even funny. Like, we love it. We soak in every part of it. And yes, we just love being here. Most of the things, almost everything, I can't think of something now, but almost everything worked out the way that we planned it out in our minds. So we thought, no, we'd sit here, we'd do this here, we'd do that there, and it works really well. The only thing we are struggling with at the moment is just like the layout of the rooms. Like, where do we exactly want our dining room table? Because initially we thought we'd put it one place, like on the plan, and then in real life we're like, no, we're not really that crazy about this spot, and we are now moving around everything and trying different layouts. But as soon as lockdown is over in South Africa and life goes on, we will start decorating and ringing bells and doing all the things. Okay, it's so nice seeing you. Thank you so much for watching our videos. I'm going to try and make more and more updates. And it's someone's time to go to bed. Did you show them your sweet little feet? Look at my penguin little shoes. So cute. Okay guys, see you in the next video. Bye.